Hey, hey! It's your girl here, Jazzy Stone. Welcome, 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 welcome. Who's ready? Who's ready? Because I'm ready. That's right, you guys. Got you guys started with some great music, with some great things going on here. And I just want to welcome you all here today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being here. And here we go. We're here to another start of another great day. And this is about letting you know that we're here to elevate. It's elevation time, it's shifting time. It's time to be your most authentic self by doing the best that you can. If everyone can hear me okay, can someone go ahead and put down there in the comments, say, yes, you can hear me? That would be great so that I know that everyone is with me. Can you hear me all right? Can everyone hear me okay? Yes, no, maybe so? All right. So I'm going to presume that everyone can hear me because I'm not seeing anyone say yes or no in the comments. So I'm presuming that everyone can hear me. So we're going to get right into this because today is the day, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Fight or Flight Challenge. I thank you so much for joining me. I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do this challenge and for just coming to see what it's all about. This is me trying to help you to change yourself from the inside out. That's right, from the inside out. So thank you so much for allowing me to do this with and for you, and even for myself, because I know that I'm going to be learning so many new things, and just in you. I don't know everyone here. I've heard of some of you, and so I just want to make sure that we're going to be learning each other and elevating to that next step together, you and me. So we're going to go right into this. You want to know, I'm sure, who I am, right? I know you want to know who I am. So we are going to go right into this, guys, and I'm hoping that you guys can see what I'm trying to show you here.
Hello? What? What?
Hello?
Did you guys call?
I think someone did, but I'm not pretty sure. All right, guys. Let them in. So we hike into that room. We are going to go forward and try to get this going. I'm trying to share my screen with you guys, and I don't see if I'm able to. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing that it's sharing too well right now, guys, so that's all right. We're just going to go forward. So today, I wanted to show you just who I am. I'm Joxy Mind Crazy Face Stokes. I have been a serial entrepreneur for about going on 15 years now. I have been with every company that you can think of, from Melaleuca to Euphoria, uh, to think of something else, to Carrot Bars, to Legal Shield, which formerly was another company, from to Gardez Lafoy, to Money Chaser for You, to now Vacation Nanny. I have had multiple companies that I have worked for as an entrepreneur, but my most recent one, I've launched the app Vacation Nanny. And what Vacation Nanny basically consists of is that while people are on vacation or while they're traveling, that they can get a nanny that's close to them in their general areas, so that while they're on vacation, if they want to enjoy the nightlife or whatever, they can do so by downloading the Vacation Nanny app and actually either hiring someone that's in the area, or they can even take someone on vacation with them. So that's what that's all about. But what I want to talk about more than anything is the reason why you guys are here. You are here for the Fight or Flight Challenge, which is dealing with fighting or flighting yourself out of the idea of a mental breakdown. What we do is we stop ourselves from growing because we self sabotage ourselves, which continues to paralyze us with fear, and it makes us not be able to commit to anything. What I've shown you in the last 6 days, today being the seventh day, is what you can do in a short amount of time. You can decide to make subtle changes in your life to make sure that you can get to an end result. That result can either be a big result or that result can be a small result, but it's totally up to you. Any direction that you move in life is up to your decision making skills. You don't have to reside in the same place, being in the same, what I call stinking thinking results every single time. And you might say, what is stinking thinking? Well, again, stinking thinking syndrome is the ability to self sabotage due to fear, paralyzing you to commit to anything. Let me say that again. Stinking thinking syndrome is the ability to self sabotage due to fear, paralyzing you not to commit to anything. It also is staying stuck in the woe is me place. Woe is me, woe is me. Nothing good can ever happen to me because it's woe is me. Also, poor. The acronym for poor is passing over opportunities regularly. And the last bullet point is unwillingness to read and apply it to your life. Sometimes we just don't want to do anything that's going to benefit us. We want everything to be quick and in a hurry. And what I'm going to show you is that the quick and the hurry things just don't work out. You got to sometimes just deal with things as they may come, but some things are in our control and some things are not in our control. So you need to stop the self sabotage. And to help you to further understand what self sabotaging is, it's like basically being on a hamster wheel, and you are in that hamster wheel going around in circles and circles and circles and not going anywhere at all. Don't you want to go someplace? You don't want to be stagnant. When you're stagnant, there is nothing fresh coming of that. It's basically getting very stinky because there's no fresh water coming in and there's no fresh water going out. So that's what I want you to get out of this self-sabotaging. You got to start with a file of how far you've come, what you've accomplished. You don't need to look back and look at what somebody else has done and that equates to your success. What they're doing is what they're doing. What you need to do, you need to stay in your lane and do you. And sometimes it takes repeating. It's okay to repeat. You're not in competition with anyone else but yourself. You are your biggest competitor. And I know you've heard this before, but what you need to know is being in competition with yourself, that you are the person that sets the deadline. You set the guide. You're the person that decides when you will start something, when you will end something, if it's beneficial to you or if it's not beneficial to you. You do not have to commit to things and then feel guilty about committing to them because they didn't work out. Okay, sometimes, you might say, you know what, I think I'm going to commit to going on that keto fast. Well, I realize I really don't like meat as much as the other person likes meat. I like a little bit more vegetable. And keto seems to kind of like, make me eat meat and vegetables. Maybe you need to find out if there's a vegetarian keto. If that works for you, great, that works for you. But what works for you may not work for someone else. We are not all cookie cutter people. We are all designed differently. This is why we all have different fingerprints. None of us have the same fingerprints because each of you are intricately knit together by your own design. God created us all differently. We all come from different walks of life. None of us are going to have the same ideas. I mean, I think that if you did have the same ideas, you would pretty much be bored with the person that you're having those ideas with or about. You don't want to just sit around in a room and just talk to you all day. I mean, I can sit, but I don't think I want to hold a conversation with myself all day. Yes, I'm a very happy and an outgoing person, but I want to be something more than just that. I want to be someone that can actually listen to someone. I want to be someone that actually can hear where someone else is coming from because a lot of times we don't understand that. Where our culture, American culture, might be one thing, someone else's culture might be totally different than what our background is used to. And just because you're not used to something doesn't make it wrong per se. Learn how to accept people for where they are instead of always trying to put labels on people. And if no one likes to be labeled, no one likes the idea of someone telling them that they have to be a certain way or they have to fit in some sort of parameter. You are your own biggest critic. And I want you to know that you are your own biggest critic. It's not so much what other people think about you, it's what you think about yourself. So I want you to get out of that self sabotaging mindset. And when you're in that self sabotaging mindset, it doesn't do anything for you to be self deprecating. Because when you get into that self sabotaging mindset, you go into the woe is me syndrome. And that woe is me place is just confusing, lost, you're unsure, you're unclear, you're perplexed, you're disoriented, you're bewildered by what's happening. And you don't need to be bewildered by what's happening. What you need to understand is that when you get into this woe is me place, I don't know if many of you guys remember the Nike commercial which says just do it, the Bo Jackson. Remember he could do everything from playing baseball to playing football to playing basketball. It was just do it. And that's where you have to go. You have to get into that mentality. Just do it. Don't be afraid if it doesn't work out. Just do it. If you do it and you realize that you like it, great. I mean, half the time we stop ourselves in our thoughts from doing something because we're afraid of what the turnout is going to be. Sometimes we don't need to know what the turnout is going to be. Sometimes things work out for our good if we learn to just accept what it is that we're dealing with at any given moment. So learn to just love yourself where you're at. Where we were meant to create. So sometimes in just doing it, you will find out that, hey, I have an idea. Something else could have gone on here that I can make this whole situation or this whole scenario a lot easier if I go about it this way. Someone is waiting for you to create that platform. We used to cook everything on the stove and then we went to toaster ovens, then we went to microwaves. And I mean, that's the beautiful thing. Once the microwave was created, we were able to cook turkeys and chickens and everything from there. And then now, what's the new biggest craze? The biggest rave going on right now is the air fryer. Everyone wants an air fryer. Everyone wants to be able to eat in this way and have things cooked in a more feasible way in a shorter amount of time. So if that's something that you want to do, great, create it. Don't sit here and let someone tell you what you can't do. If you want something to grow, you've got to be able to make it grow on not stony ground. It has to be on something to where it can be tilled. Any ground that's not stony is not a tilled ground. Give me a second, everyone. Hold on. I'm being interrupted for a second just from my son, guys. So just give me a second real quick. Thanks, guys, so much for waiting. Okay, so you can't stay in that woe is me state. You have to come out of that woe is me state of mind. That woe is me state of mind is not going to allow you to produce any type of harvest. If you're staying there, you're going to know that you're going to need to plant seeds in fertile ground. And how do you plant those seeds in fertile ground? By first making sure that you till that ground. You have to work that ground. You have to make sure that it's feasible for you to be able to plant those seeds, those new ideas, those, and then it germinates from you by your persistence of saying that I don't want to stay here in this place. And the next part of this is going to be what's called core. It's called passing over opportunities regularly. And how do you pass over opportunities regularly, you'll say? Well, do you ever just pray and just say, oh, God, help me. Please, God, I just need someone to talk to. I'm just going through this situation and I just don't know how to get out of this situation. Bring, the phone rings. We're like, hello, how are you? And it's your friend on the phone and they're just like, hey, how you doing? You're like, oh, I'm good. And you're just like, they're like, oh, are you sure you're good? You sound like something's wrong. Oh, no, nothing's wrong at all. I'm good. Everything's great. And your friend is like, are you sure? You're like, yeah, everything's great. And they're like, how are you doing? Oh, okay, everything's good on my side. Well, if you need anything, call me, all right? All right. Love you guys. Bye. And you hang up. You don't even realize that you just passed over that opportunity for that person to help you. They will never be able to help you if you don't let them in. You sat there and prayed and said, God, I just need someone to talk to. I just need someone that's going to understand what I'm going through. But because it comes from a familiar place, you pass over it. Because you don't want to let your friend in because you don't know if your friend is going to receive what you're saying or not. And you're afraid of what that person is going to say. We never know what any of our friends are going through unless we allow them to in. And we allow them in by if we're going to pray about something and someone comes to us and they say, hey, how you doing? Sometimes it's good to just say it. The Bible says your help cometh from the hills. So sometimes we never know what someone else can help us out of if we just learn to just let them in a little bit. Yes, we've all been burned by someone, but you can't assume that every single person that's been put in your life is going to burn you, is going to put you in this place of where they're going to hurt you. Everyone's been hurt. We all know where hurt comes from. But you can't allow that opportunity to get away from you. It's right there in your face, but you just can't see it because you don't allow yourself to be open enough to say, oh, well, I was just having an issue with this and I didn't know that, what to do, but, it's a money situation and this, that, and the other. We all come from some form of a flaw. We all have those type of flaws that inhibit us from moving forward. But those flaws don't have to stay with you. You learn because you get new skills to cope with those flaws. And you don't, some of our flaws are not worn on the outside, they're on the inside. And so just because someone can't see them doesn't mean that you don't have it. It's okay to work with your flaws. Hey, I'm not a size 2 woman. I'm not everyone's, gift on the eyes. But you know what? I feel like I'm feeling really good and I feel like I'm a beautiful woman and I'm just who I need to be to the right person. And that's exactly who you need to be to the right person. There's a story in the Bible that talks about Joseph and his brothers put him in a pit and it says from the pit he went to Potiphar's house. From Potiphar's house he went to prison. And from prison he went to the Pharaoh. And I used to always love that story because I said it's the 4 P's. From the pit to Potiphar's house, from Potiphar's house to prison, and from prison to the Pharaoh. And when he was the Pharaoh's right hand man, he was able to help the Pharaoh to get ready for 7 seasons of great harvest and then 7 seasons of drought. And getting ready for these things, we have to understand that sometimes we're going to have some pits in our life. Sometimes things are not going to always be exactly what we ideally wanted them to be. Sometimes we're going to see that things are not going to always work out to be the best for us. But what may not be for you at that moment in time doesn't mean that it's not going to come a little bit down the road. You just have to keep going. You just have to keep moving forward. You just have to keep going into this place that you know that you can come out from. You do not have to stay in that place of sorrow. You just have to keep going because eventually, guess what's going to happen? You are going to reach your goal. Extra, extra, read all about it. When people like Bill Gates decided to start Microsoft, he didn't have people believing in his dream. He didn't have people believing in the World Wide Web, but he had a vision and he kept moving with his vision, even though people thought he was crazy. Look what we have today because of one person's vision. Your vision may not be somebody else's vision. And do not look to other people to make your vision what it needs to be to you. You need to look in yourself because a lot of times when you tell someone about that vision, they're intimidated by your vision. That's right. They're intimidated by it because it's too big for them to even put their minds around. And if it's too big for them to put their mind around, how can they give you honest advice on it? They've never done anything that's probably stepped out of their own comfort zone. So how do you expect for them to give you advice on something where you're stepping out of your comfort zone? You have to look around you at the circle of friends that you have. You have to look at the people that you consider friends. It doesn't mean that they're any less than because they're not going, but everyone can't go in the same direction in the same places that you are going. You have to know that you are meant to go there because that's the place that was designed for you to go. Sometimes we have to realize that everything is not meant for everyone. So, in knowing this, you've got to be okay with that. That this is meant for you. You are meant to be the one true soldier to go out there and do it and commit. Because you know why? The minute you commit to something and you show someone else that you're fearless, they're going to realize that, oh my gosh, if they just did that, I can do it. They're going to see that you were so fearless that you didn't worry about what anyone else thought, that you were committed to something, you were committed to seeing your vision manifest itself. So, because you were committed to seeing your vision manifest itself, you're able to know that you can accomplish something. That's what you want. Is you want your accomplishments to be the noisemakers for you. You want your accomplishments to be the things that are going to tell you that, hey, oh my gosh, I did that. Sometimes you got to give yourself a good old pat on the back. You can't look to other people to give you that pat or give you that motivation to keep going. This is not about anyone else but yourself. So you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep being the trailblazer, and you got to keep making the path. Because as you keep making the path, then other people will be able to come behind you through those paths, and then you will be able to say, "I can help someone else," because now you chose to make those paths, and you've made clean paths so that people don't have to go through it as difficultly as you did when you first tried to go through it. So my next topic is going to be, as you're moving through this place of passing over opportunities regularly, you're going to have to learn to read, guys. There's this famous quote from Dr. Seuss that says, the more you read, the more things you know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. Dr. Seuss, that's right. I love Dr. Seuss books because sometimes people would say, oh, you can't learn anything from Dr. Seuss. He wasn't even a real doctor. But that's the beautiful thing is he doesn't need to be a real doctor in order for him to make an impact on anyone. He just had to be an expert in what he was doing. He was an expert in his field of children's books. He became an expert by learning what he felt kids needed at this point in time in their lives. He didn't allow people to tell him, you can't write books about non-animals that are really existing. He made a lifetime of impact on kids by making up wacky words like doodle and strudel and green eggs and ham. You know, Those are the beautiful things, is that you can become an expert in your field as well. But you have to believe that you can do it. Let me tell you a story. So my dad, he told me that he had applied for this job that he had no experience in at all. None. And I was looking at him like, Dad, are you serious? You had no experience? He's like, no. I said, well, why would you even apply for a job? He's like, because I knew that a lot of these types of jobs give you on the job training. And I was like, okay, but if you didn't know anything about the job, how did you even, get enough information on interviewing for the job? He goes, let me tell you what I did, babe. He goes, I went to the library and I read on the job, on the position, what it was that you would have to do on this job, and what it was that that you would have to see and come across, and the strategic planning that you would need to be able to make sure that the job can be done. And I looked at him in awe, like, you went where? You did what? He says, I went to the library. And I'm like, you went to the library. And my dad and mom were avid readers. The one thing that my mom and my dad did is they always pushed us to read. They always pushed us to go about things by learning. Every single week, my mother would make us learn at least, I would say, 5 to 10 words. We had to look up the definitions. We had to then write a sentence, and then we had to go about saying the word out loud and spelling it. That's right. My mother, she was committed to teaching us this way. She wanted us to be so on top of things, that she wanted us to be ahead of the game. And I used to be like, this is so boring. Why is she teaching me this? I do not want to sit there and learn these words. This is so boring every single week. 5 to 10 new words on the weekend. And it was so funny because when my mother would do this, she would let me know that after you learn those 5 to 10 words, you could have the rest of the weekend to do whatever you want. And I'd be like, really? So that it made me go about it even more ferociously than I did before. I wanted to learn more and more words because I knew that if I got that 5 or 10 words out of the way, it was all about my timing. I could go outside with my friends. I could play with them. I didn't have to worry about anything. And I did that, guys. I did that. So that's why we have to learn to read, and we have to learn to apply it, and we have to learn to go. And now when I speak, you know what I always hear people say? Oh my gosh, you have such a phone etiquette. Oh my gosh, you have such a great dialogue, and you have such a great presence. And I'm just like, really? I didn't even realize that I had all this, but this was preparing me, guys, for where I am today. For being the entrepreneur that I am, I had to realize that I had to talk to people. To be on a motivational platform, I had to then deal with people on that platform. I had to be able to tell people that it was okay and that they too could get to this place, but they first had to learn to believe enough in themselves. And I was just so in awe by this, because once I realized that I could do this, I realized that you too can do this, guys. You too can believe. You too can learn new words. You too can go about doing something for yourself by not being afraid to step out of the place that's right here in your head, guys. It's right here. That's what stops you. You can go from a place of non existence, or you can go to a place of being an expert. And it was once told to me by my grandfather. He said, he used to call us meathead guys. Meathead, do you know where the richest place on earth is? And I'd look at my granddaddy in such awe because I knew he was such a smart guy. And I'd say, I don't know, granddaddy. The graveyard, because that's where people die with so much gold and jewelry. And he chuckled. He said, meathead, I always knew you were smart. He goes, but you have one thing that you didn't get. And I'd say, what was that, Granddad? And he said, you're smart. It is the graveyard, but it's not because they're buried with the jewels and the gold. He goes, because that's where so many people passed away with their thoughts and their dreams. The dreams that they did not commit, the dreams that they didn't tell anyone about. And that's the reason why so many things right now have not been created, is because it's our fear to commit to something. And when he said that to me, it just put me in this place of like, wow, nostalgia. Like, wow, you are so right. And so I wanted to invite a friend of mine online that's going to help us learn a little bit more about this when it comes to reading, because he is dynamic in his field. He is also an entrepreneur and he is a great speaker. I can't tell you enough times how I have depended on him in so many ways to come into a place to speak into me at times when I was just so mid sentence, sometimes confused, and he would help me out. And that person I want to introduce to you guys today is my good friend, Kenny Long. Kenny, are you there? Kenny,
Hi,
hi.
can you hear
Hey
me?
guys.
Hey, how you doing? Excuse me for
Good.
my
How are
tardiness.
you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm
That
doing
is awesome. So, guys, this is one of my good friends, Kenny Long. He is a serial entrepreneur as myself, but he is just great at what he does. I really respect him. He has been my mentor for, I would say, about good 6 to 7 months. He helped me into one of the companies I've told you guys about a little bit earlier, Legal Shield. And he is an executive director, Kenny. Is that what it is? Legal Shield?
I'm actually a director currently, but I have been at the executive director position.
Okay, so he was an executive director, now he's a director currently. But I want you guys to just hear him talk in regards to motivating yourselves out of your mental places of being broken. Kenny, it's all yours.
Well, I definitely appreciate you. Again, appreciate the platform and what you got going here. You look lovely today, might I add. I'll be brief and I'll definitely open to any questions, but um, I feel like reading is the foundation because to obtain the things on the higher shelves of life, we must stand upon the books we read. And the books that we don't read won't help. And I can directly relate the the books that I've read have increased my life when I look back. So currently I've read maybe about 120 personal development books. And when I look back and I think about it, I wasn't a reader first of all. But until I got into professional, everyone wants to be successful. Saw the successful people were reading, and they were encouraging me to start reading. Right, so we started doing. They promoted 10 pages per day. I wasn't there, so I started doing maybe 2 pages a day, and then I increased. I finally got to 10. Now I'm at like 20. But when I look back and I think about the first 5 books, and my mentor, Mr. Allen, actually told me, he said, once you get 4 or 5 of these good books in you, something's gonna change, something's gonna click. I don't really have a word for it, but it's just something's gonna be different. And sure enough, I was thinking, it was common sense information, but it was information that I had never seen. I kept going and 10 books and 20 books and 30 books and my income, the more books I read, mine expands. It's impossible to conform back. And so when you learn, you got it. And so you can't go back. And so, getting back to answering the question, you have to motivate yourself. So you have, if you take 100%, and this is something I was taught, 27% of people are unmotivatable. So no matter what you tell them, no matter what you show them, they're not going to move. They're unmotivatable. 60% of people are motivatable. So if you show them the right thing, you tell them the right thing, they'll be motivated. And then 10% of people are self-motivated, where you don't have to tell them what to do because they're self-motivated. They want to win so much that they don't have to be told. If they know what their job is to do, then they just do it. And then you have 3% of people that are motivators. And basically, your job is to be at minimum in that 10% of self-motivated people. You shouldn't need anyone. If you have dreams, everyone has dreams in life, but we don't get what we want necessarily out of life. We get what we expect out of life. And so if you're expecting to achieve your dreams, then you got to be self-motivated. You can't have someone have to come drag you to your dreams. You got to be ready to, you got to be waking up and reaching out to those who can help you. Instead of just waiting for those who can help you to reach out to you, you're supposed to be reaching out to them because they have what you need. You don't have what they need necessarily, other than, good spirit and whatnot. So when you're in that 10% and you can help enough of those 60% of motivatable people become self-motivated, that makes you a motivator. And once you're a motivator, you're pretty much getting really, really close to your dreams if you're not there already. So I hope that answered the question. If you have any other questions, just shoot them at me. I love questions.
So when you talk about being self-motivated, is that so much about you listening to what someone is telling you about yourself, or is that a place that you feel that you had to come to getting to on your own? What made you strong enough to start believing that you could be who you wanted to be as an entrepreneur? Isn't that, I mean, aren't you always asked, isn't being an entrepreneur a hard thing? You know?
Again, it goes back to the books. It's all in your mind. However you see it. However you see it. If you see, I was fortunate enough to growing up, there was successful people that I knew, and I knew where they came from, so I knew it was possible. And some people are brought up in a position where they may not know that it's actually possible. They may think it's for someone else. So really, it goes to your belief and it goes to your faith, like crazy faith. So when you have that type of belief, then you know it's possible. When you know it's possible, then it just becomes making a plan. And if you can reach out and find someone that you can trust, that knows more than you know, who has more than you have, and they may be closer to where you want to be, then when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I think it's both. To answer your question, you need to have it yourself, and then it's going to be very helpful if you can align yourself with those who may have your answers. So you don't want to spend all your time with people who have the same problems that you have in life. You need to find someone who has your solutions in life. And so being self-motivated, it starts with you first, but I think the core of that is your belief. If you have belief, then you'll move towards it. If you don't believe it, probably not going to happen.
Right. I totally agree with that because, you have to believe that something can happen in order for it to manifest itself. You can't tell yourself that nothing's ever going to happen because words are so powerful. If you don't believe in what's coming out of your mouth, then of course you're already shooting yourself in the foot because you're not telling yourself that I can do this. That's why it's like that great book, I think I can, little choo choo train. You got to believe in anything that you do. You have to commit to it and you have to tell yourself that you're worthy enough to move forward in anything that you're doing. So going down,
See,
go ahead.
you said a strong word right there. You said commit. And that's what happens when you believe. You'll commit to it, and then once you're committed to it, you'll work out a plan, and then you would keep working that plan until it happens because you're committed to it. And so if you're not fully committed, then something can come along. Enough people can tell you no, or just some things can happen, and then you'll fall off because you're not fully committed to it. And we've all been there. I've been there, but sometimes we got to jump back on the bike and keep going. Sometimes we got to make an adjustment and try something else. But at the end of the day, to achieve, to really achieve, we have to be committed to whatever it is we're going for. We got to be fully committed, and 1 ounce of doubt and you're out.
Yeah, because no does not mean that it's not ever possible. No sometimes just means that it's not possible right now. And I think
Facts.
that's where we get defeated sometimes in our thinking is when we hear the word no, we think that it's automatic, that it's permanent. There's no permanence in no because it can always be changed. Because once people start seeing your own successes in you, then people want to start asking questions like, what are you doing? What's going on over there?
Well, what's funny about that is the yes is inside of the no. See, some people, I'll just take our number one moneymaker in the company that I'm in. And he said the reason why he makes more money than anyone else is because he gets told no more than anyone else. The yes is inside of the no. If you knock at 100 doors, one of them will say yes. But if you knock at 99 and stop, then you may not get that yes. You got to keep going. The yes is inside of the no. So you just have to, like that again. That goes back to personal development, which is so important because you just change the way that you think, and you become okay with the no. And again, just like you said, sometimes a no today might become a yes next year, next month, 5 years from now. But as long as you keep your doors open, then they can come get it when they're ready. You can't force anyone to do anything, just like no one can force you to do anything. So just always remember that your yes is inside of your no. Don't get discouraged when people tell you no, because they don't have the feeling that you have inside of you. They don't have the thoughts that you have inside of you. They don't have the wisdom that you have inside of you. So they don't see what you see. So you have to become a good storyteller and paint a picture for them so they know, what your vision is, and if they can see it and it makes sense to them. Excuse me for the siren. Um,
Hold on, Kenny.
excuse me.
Let's.
So okay, it's good now.
Yeah,
Sorry
it's
about
good
that. I'm
now.
outside. I
No,
have to
it's fine. We know.
come out where the good Wi-Fi is at. um, but if people can see the vision of what you're saying, then vision, then they'll be more likely to say yes. And just don't
Right.
let anyone discourage
So
your
no
dreams or
is
your
going to
dreams.
be no. And like you said, there's a yes in the no. We just have to be okay with understanding that it's okay to get a no. But once you get okay with hearing no, then you're more familiar with finally getting a yes out of that no because you're not going to have that. Your skin is not going to be as thick anymore as it used to be. You know, you're not going to be sad or deflated because you hear a no. You say, okay, that's okay. But you know what? We thank you anyhow. We thank you so much, and I still love you. And you know, if you ever want to change, you know, in the future, if you want to, you know, your path in life right now is not here, you know, and you decide to make some changes and, you know, don't forget to think about me or look me up because once people see that the successes that are happening in your life, people want to be a part of that success. People want to be a part of those successions because they don't want to feel like they're being left behind. But a lot of people don't realize that it does take a lot of work. You have to be able to commit yourself to working. Nothing is going to happen like a get rich quick scheme. And that's what I love about you is because you showed me that no, the power is in the push. The power is in the push. So you don't allow anyone to
Every
push
time.
back against you. You just keep going forward.
Man, I
And
appreciate you
that's
saying
why
that.
I
And
love that you're a part of my network of friends because, you know, you just don't allow people to manipulate you enough to say that you're not worthy. You know your worth, and you continue to show people your worth
absolutely.
by continuing to be that leader and that trailblazer. So I thank you so much for your time, Kenny, today. Because go ahead, you have something to say?
Um, I'm just listening, but I appreciate you and it's synergy. So it's not one-sided. When you help someone when you help enough people get what they want, then the byproduct is that is you getting what you want. So it actually is you to help someone else as well. So I'm so more than happy to help people who want to be helped. But you have to, when you're in a leadership position, you have to grade them by their actions. And oh, that's what I was thinking. When back to the nose, when you're going for the nose, sometimes when you're brand new, you may not have the skill set yet, and that's why a lot of people may be telling you no. But by being willing to talk to more and more and more people, then you become better. And then so you get told no 100 times. That second 100 times, you're going to become a lot better. That third 100 people, now you're ready. Now you're moving and grooving, and now you're not being told no as much. So just keep in mind, being told no is a good thing if you look at it the right way.
I agree wholeheartedly. I agree wholeheartedly. You know, that's the thing is that, like you just said, it's the mind. It's the mindset of willing to allow things to just be and fall where they're going to fall. Not every person you're going to be able to change their mind. Not every person is going to want to be an entrepreneur. Some people just want to be customers. And if they want to be customers, great. If they don't, then so be it. Not
Mm-hmm.
everything is for everyone. But at the end of
Facts.
the day, I just think who you are because you've taught me so many things about continuing to keep the fight and the fire burning. And I'm so happy that I'm, business partners with you on the other side as well, not just in this thing of me coming into this motivational speaking platform. I thank you for wanting to be one of the first people out the box to join me today. And I look forward to where this is going to go because it's lonely at the top. So I know I'm going to be there with you. So thanks so much for your time, Kenny. I appreciate you
I'm
taking the
at the
time out
top.
for us today and chatting with you soon and keep going. And oh, you know what? Actually, what's one of the books
Hey,
you're reading right
whatever.
now?
What,
'Cause I know you're reading something. Give the people something.
right now, right now I'm supposed to be finished with it, but I'm not. But I'll get there. Right now, I'm reading The Focal Point, um, and then I'm reading The Language of Achievement for like the 1,000th time by David Byrd. You can get that at davidbyrdconsulting.com. Byrd, Byrd. That's what I'm reading right now. But the one thing that I'll say before I get out of here is the blueprint to the test of life. Whatever you want to become, whatever you want to have, whatever you want to be, whoever you want to give to, personal development is the vehicle that will drive you there.
That's awesome, Kenny. Thank you so much. So, I thank Kenny again. I know I said it 3 times now. I thank him, but I do. I thank him because when you have good people in your court, you want to make sure that you just let them know that you appreciate them. So, Kenny said that he's reading the book, The Focal Point. So, what I'm going to do today, whoever is watching, whoever wants that book, I'm gonna put that off as a prize today. You need to
Mm.
put down in the comments, I want the book. Let me know that you want the book, and I'm gonna send it off to you. Whoever's the first person that puts in the comments they want the book, then I'm gonna go ahead and say the name, and then they're gonna go ahead and DM me, and then you get that book. He said he's gonna be reading the Focal Point, and he's finishing another book. Say the second book you're finishing.
The Language of Achievement by
The
Mr. David
language
Byrd,
of
Byrd.
All right. So we're gonna try to get that book because I need to read that too, Kenny. I know you got some good books over there.
I've read
So
that
whoever
book,
wants that book,
and
I'm
it's an
gonna
easy
send it to
read,
you
and
today.
it's great.
Make sure you put down in the comments that you want that book. So thanks, Kenny. I appreciate your time today, and I'll be talking to you soon, buddy.
All right, Jazzy, be blessed. I appreciate you.
God bless you too. So, yes, as you can see, people, I have people that are just on fire. They are in love with helping and being a vocal person to be there for other people. It's not just so much about getting to the top and being there by yourself. You want to be able to have the right group of people there with you. You even know that when it comes to greatness, a lot of people have an entourage. Mariah Carey don't roll by herself. Neither does Beyonce. Neither does Lecrae. It's good to have good people around you. And you want people that are going to be positive. You want people that are going to be able to commit to things with you. Because if they're not able to commit, then it makes you fallible. You don't want to have loose ends falling out all over the place. You want to make sure that you're in a place that you want to grow. And so that's what today was about. It's about getting out of the stinking thinking syndrome. And to give you guys that again, what do you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm actually going to, since it didn't play, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a PDF and I'm going to post it to the group today. That's what I'm going to do for you guys. And then you guys can look at it and read it and download it if that's what you want to do. So that's all for today, guys. That's it. That's all you get. This is getting out of the stinking thinking syndrome. I hope you're aware that this can help you. I hope you are aware that you want to go from here. I hope you know that it's time to elevate, and I hope you know it's time to shift. So if you're ready for this shift, then come go along this 6-day challenge with me. That's it, guys. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right? Deuces. Mwah.